The first signs of humanity's defiance began quietly, almost imperceptibly, in the outer rim colonies where alien trade fleets passed with disdain, treating human settlements as nothing more than primitive outposts, unworthy of attention or protection. Yet even in these overlooked corners of the galaxy, humans have been observing, learning, and preparing, their scientists and engineers working in secret, their shipyards building vessels that appeared rudimentary but concealed technologies and strategies that no alien mind could anticipate. On Earth, the United Nations had consolidated into a unified command that coordinated intelligence from every human colony, analyzing alien fleet movements, studying alien weapon patterns, and training fleets of human pilots who had grown up in an environment of constant adaptation and problem-solving. These pilots were not just trained in tactics, but in improvisation, able to turn the most desperate situation into an opportunity. While alien emissaries still sneered at Earth's diplomatic messages and military advisories, dismissing them as the desperate chatter of a weak species. The humans remained patient, knowing that the galaxy had a slow rhythm, that overconfidence could be exploited. When the first incursion came into human-controlled space, it was met with what the aliens assumed would be a token resistance force, a handful of corvettes that would be easily destroyed to serve as a demonstration of the futility of human defiance. Yet the humans had anticipated the exact approach vector, the speed of the alien cruisers, even the timing of their energy bursts, and they had prepared a trap that combined deception with precision. Human ships that seemed outmatched at first glance suddenly split into formations that no alien sensors had predicted, opening fire with weapons that utilized adaptive targeting algorithms and plasma charges that could pierce alien hulls that were supposedly impervious to conventional fire. The aliens responded with confusion, their overconfidence shattered as their first ships were torn apart before they could coordinate, and as the debris of the initial skirmish floated through the void, the humans executed maneuvers that demonstrated not brute force alone, but strategy, misdirection, and an understanding of physics that allowed them to exploit environmental hazards in space, slingshotting around asteroids and using gravitational pulls to accelerate torpedoes beyond conventional limits. Every human strike was calculated not just to inflict damage, but to send a message that humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. On command centers aboard massive alien carriers, high-ranking officers demanded explanations as their screens lit up with lost reports that made no sense according to their prior assumptions. The humans had studied alien communication protocols and disrupted them, sowing chaos and hesitation, while the aliens tried to rally their fleets. They found that the humans had anticipated that too, creating fake signatures and phantom fleets to draw them into ambushes. And in the midst of this, human leadership on Earth remained calm and composed, issuing orders that were simple, direct, and effective, emphasizing adaptability and initiative rather than rigid obedience. Young commanders who had never even seen their homeworld take part in battle made decisions that resulted in disproportionate victories. Alien admirals could not comprehend the audacity and speed of these maneuvers. The humans seemed to anticipate reactions before they were made, each success emboldening human crews. And as the first alien flagship exploded under a barrage of coordinated fire from multiple angles, a pattern became clear to every observer across the galaxy. Humanity was underestimated not because it was weak, but because it was unpredictable, inventive, and willing to accept risks that no other civilization would dare. And this realization struck fear into the core of the alien councils, for they had built empires on the assumption that their technological superiority and bureaucratic precision guaranteed dominance. Yet here in the Outer Rim, those assumptions were being systematically dismantled. The humans moved with confidence that seemed reckless but was underpinned by exhaustive preparation. Their communications were brief but filled with clarity, their fleet formations constantly shifting in ways that alien commanders could not model. And while the aliens struggled to regain composure, the humans were already striking key resource depots, cutting supply lines, and using captured alien drones to infiltrate command systems. Every human action demonstrated a deep understanding of alien psychology, predicting hesitation and exploiting arrogance. And as the battle progressed, reports began to circulate of entire alien squadrons surrendering or abandoning their posts because the humans attacked not only with weapons but with precision strategy, forcing enemies to question every decision, every assumption. Earth scientists had even deployed prototype defensive technologies, generating localized energy fields that absorbed and redirected alien fire, creating an illusion of invulnerability and further demoralizing the opposition behind the front lines. Political leaders coordinated propaganda campaigns, showing human victories in real time, broadcasting to alien populations as well as the human colonies to ensure that morale remained high. The message was simple but powerful. Humanity was underestimated no longer, and any civilization that had dismissed Earth's potential was about to pay the ultimate price. And as the first phase of the campaign concluded, humans consolidated their gains, repaired their ships, and prepared for the inevitable counterattack, knowing that the aliens would regroup and strike back, yet confident in their preparations, in their ingenuity, and in the unshakable resolve that had carried them from a minor corner of the galaxy to the forefront of a war that would reshape every system. For every alien admiral now understood the terrifying truth. Humanity was no longer a species to be mocked or ignored. It was a force that combined unpredictability, strategic brilliance, and relentless determination in a way that could turn the tide of war against even the mightiest of galactic powers. And as the stars themselves seemed to bear witness, the humans waited, ready to demonstrate that the galaxy had made its gravest mistake in underestimating them. After the shocking victories in the Outer Rim, humanity did not allow itself a moment of complacency, knowing that alien civilizations would respond with overwhelming force once the initial shock faded. The United Earth Command convened in the orbital citadel above Mars, where leaders, admirals, and scientists from every human colony gathered to review battle reports, refine strategies, and coordinate the next phase of the campaign. Every human presence in the room carried a quiet intensity, the calm of individuals who understood both the stakes and the capabilities of their species. While alien intelligence networks scrambled to interpret the unexpected human tactics, their analysts labeling the attacks as anomalous and unexplainable, the truth was that humans had spent decades cultivating adaptive thinking, cross-disciplinary problem-solving, and decentralized command structures that allowed rapid responses to evolving battlefield conditions, far beyond the rigid hierarchies and predictable doctrines of alien fleets. And as the aliens began to mobilize reinforcements, humanity's spies had already infiltrated multiple command nodes, subtly sabotaging logistics and communication lines, creating confusion that ensured the first wave of alien counterattacks would encounter not only human firepower, but disarray within their own ranks. And in the system surrounding Earth, human engineers had developed stealth technologies that allowed entire squadrons to appear and vanish at will, striking at supply convoys, planetary fortresses, and orbital weapon platforms with precision that alien commanders could not anticipate. Every engagement became a psychological battle, as much as a physical one. Alien pilots grew wary of empty space, where no ship seemed present yet laser fire erupted without warning. The humans perfected the art of unpredictability, combining sudden, rapid strikes with retreat patterns that created the illusion of vulnerability while luring alien fleets into traps where numbers and firepower could be maximized. And on several occasions, alien admirals made critical errors, overcommitting forces only to be surrounded and annihilated, with human commanders coordinating from multiple points of observation, sometimes hundreds of thousands of kilometers apart, yet perfectly synchronized. The key to humanity's advantage was not in individual weapons, but in the integration of every asset, from small attack craft to massive carriers, all operating under a philosophy of initiative, improvisation, and mutual trust that alien cultures could not fathom. Meanwhile, on Earth, political leaders worked tirelessly to ensure civilian morale remained unshaken, broadcasting real-time reports of victories and recovered territories, emphasizing human unity and resilience, messages that inspired colonies under alien threat to hold firm and contribute resources to the war effort, and while aliens had relied on fear and intimidation to maintain control across the galaxy, humans used hope and determination as their most potent weapons, turning even desperate situations into opportunities for tactical advantage. As a particularly daring maneuver unfolded in the Persis sector, human engineers had reprogrammed captured alien drones to create artificial fleet formations that mimicked large-scale invasions, drawing alien defenders away from vital supply routes while hitting human forces attacked from angles that the aliens had never considered. Entire alien squadrons were lured into minefields and ambushes, and for the first time, the alien council began to doubt the reliability of their own commanders. The failure of protocols designed to anticipate human behavior exposed the arrogance that had defined their species for centuries, and even as aliens scrambled reinforcements from distant systems, the humans maintained relentless pressure, each victory compounding their advantage while demonstrating that their initial underestimation had been catastrophic. Throughout this campaign, human scientists unveiled new technologies designed for both offense and defense, adaptive shields capable of dispersing energy attacks, advanced targeting systems that learned and predicted alien maneuvers within seconds, and new propulsion systems allowing human ships to perform evasive actions that defy conventional physics modeling. These technological leaps were matched by human ingenuity and strategy, with admirals devising feints, multi-layered traps, and complex coordinated assaults that made it impossible for alien commanders to respond effectively without risking annihilation. And as weeks turned into months, humanity's reputation spread across the stars. Even among alien populations who had once considered humans weak, whispers began of the audacious and relentless species that could turn every disadvantage into an advantage, who could strike at impossible angles, predict outcomes without the benefit of overwhelming computational power, and adapt faster than any alien fleet could reorganize. And in the council halls of alien empires, once confident and arrogant leaders now argued, debated, and quarreled, unable to comprehend how a species they deemed insignificant could outmaneuver, outthink, and outfight their best, most technologically advanced forces. The realization that humans operated on principles alien minds could not anticipate shook the foundations of their civilizations. And as the humans consolidated their territorial gains, repaired their fleets, and prepared for the next phase of the campaign, it became increasingly clear that the galaxy itself was witnessing a paradigm shift, one in which the underestimated human race was no longer content to survive in the shadows, but instead was actively asserting dominance, challenging every assumption, and proving in the harsh crucible of interstellar warfare that the cunning, adaptability, and resolve of humanity could turn the tide of war against even the most formidable alien overlords, and in doing so, they were sending a message that reverberated across star systems. Never underestimate humanity, for they were the architect of their own destiny, and every action they took was part of a carefully calculated plan to reclaim respect, power, and control in a galaxy that had dismissed them for far too long. As humanity's influence expanded across previously contested systems, the alien empires began to recognize that what they had once considered minor skirmishes were in fact the opening moves of a meticulously planned campaign, each human victory revealing layers of preparation and strategic depth that alien intelligence agencies had failed to detect. Earth's fleets no longer acted reactively, but proactively, deploying squadrons not merely to defend territory, but to seize critical infrastructure, resource-rich planets, and hyperspace junctions, ensuring that every step forward applied both tactical and psychological pressure. Human admirals demonstrated an uncanny ability to integrate real-time intelligence from disparate sources, combining data from reconnaissance drones, intercepted communications, and sensor arrays to execute maneuvers that alien commanders could neither anticipate nor counter effectively. While alien civilizations relied on rigid chains of command and standardized tactics, humanity's approach embraced decentralization, empowering individual captains to act according to the evolving situation with initiative, creativity, and audacity, resulting in strikes that appeared improvisational, yet were in fact a product of careful strategic design. On one occasion, a human task force approached a heavily fortified alien research station believed impregnable. The alien garrison confident in their defenses, yet the humans exploited the station's rotational shield cycles, launching a synchronized assault from multiple vectors while deploying decoy drones that mimic fleet signatures, drawing the majority of defenders into a trap that left the station vulnerable to concentrated fire within minutes. The entire facility was under human control, its technology and data capture for analysis, further enhancing humanity's advantage in the ongoing war. Back on Earth, scientists worked tirelessly to reverse engineer alien devices, integrating advanced energy, manipulation, propulsion systems, and adaptive targeting into human vessels. Each technological breakthrough, combined with human ingenuity, amplified effectiveness beyond the sum of its parts. Simultaneously, the human military emphasized training that prioritized situational awareness, improvisation, and psychological insight, teaching crews to anticipate not only physical attacks but the thought patterns of alien opponents, And when the aliens attempted to counter, with overwhelming numerical superiority, human commanders executed maneuvers that turned numbers into liabilities, forcing overcrowded formations into crossfires, gravitational traps, and artificially induced turbulence that neutralized technological advantages. Morale among human forces remained high, fueled by the knowledge that each engagement not only reclaimed territory but demonstrated the consequences of underestimating humanity, as alien populations witnessed repeated defeats at the hands of humans. Fear and uncertainty began to spread. Officers who had once taken pride in their civilization's technological and numerical superiority now questioned every order, every strategy, and even the loyalty of their crews, while humans capitalized on these cracks in alien cohesion, executing precise strikes against command hubs, supply chains, and communication networks, ensuring that every engagement eroded confidence and amplified human momentum. Simultaneously, human leaders maintained unity across colonies, coordinating not only military actions but political and economic support, integrating conquered resources, captured technology, and alien labor into the ongoing war effort, creating a self-sustaining system of advantage. The psychological impact of these combined efforts could not be overstated. Alien rulers were confronted not merely with defeat, but with the realization that their assumptions about human weakness, predictability, and inferiority were entirely false, and as humans advanced into sectors previously deemed untouchable, the very concept of alien invincibility began to crumble. Civilians and military alike whispered of the unstoppable human drive, the ingenuity that allowed small forces to defeat much larger ones, and the ruthlessness tempered by strategic brilliance that ensured minimum losses while maximizing impact. In one notable engagement near the Vesper Nebula, a human strike team infiltrated an alien shipyard, not to destroy, but to subtly alter production lines, ensuring that newly constructed vessels would carry hidden flaws and inefficiencies. Weeks later, those ships, when deployed, failed catastrophically under real combat conditions, a testament to humanity's ability to manipulate outcomes in ways the aliens could never predict. And in parallel, humans maintained open communication channels to demonstrate their unity, broadcasting messages of resilience, tactical success, and unwavering determination across every system. Reinforcing the narrative that humanity was no longer the species to be dismissed, the aliens were forced to confront a painful truth. Their technological superiority and long-established doctrines could not guarantee victory against a species that combined ingenuity, adaptability, and indomitable will. Earth's leadership, aware of the strategic and psychological dimensions of warfare, leveraged each victory to further amplify human influence, issuing orders that balanced aggression with sustainability, ensuring that resources were preserved, fleets maintained readiness, and morale remained unwavering. As the campaign progressed, alien leaders attempted desperate measures, deploying elite squadrons, experimental weapons, and enlisting mercenary allies from distant systems. Yet humanity consistently countered with tactics that leveraged their understanding of alien psychology, technological insight, and creative problem-solving. Every human success reinforced the perception of invincibility, not born of arrogance, but of preparation, ingenuity, and courage. And across the galaxy, the narrative spread that humanity had evolved from an underestimated species into a calculating, relentless force capable of turning any situation to an advantage. And as humans prepared for the next series of offensives, consolidating gains and repairing damaged vessels, it became increasingly clear that the galaxy itself was witnessing the rise of a species that could no longer be ignored. Dismissed or defeated by conventional means, humanity had not only survived the initial trials of war, but had adapted, learned, and grown stronger with every encounter, proving that when underestimated, humans became not only a threat, but a force capable of reshaping the balance of power across the stars. And for the first time, alien civilizations were forced to consider the possibility that the era of human subjugation was over, replaced by an era in which humans dictated the terms of engagement, determined the flow of battles, and redefined what it meant to be a dominant force in the galaxy. With the alien empires reeling from consecutive defeats and mounting confusion, humanity began a deliberate campaign of strategic expansion, moving beyond mere defense and retaliation into the orchestration of galactic operations that would cement their position as a force no civilization could ignore. Fleet after fleet executed precision strikes not only to eliminate opposition, but to control hyperspace routes, resource-rich planets, and critical communication nodes. Human commanders coordinated these assaults with a level of synchronization and adaptability that alien strategists could neither anticipate nor counter effectively. The integration of real-time intelligence, predictive algorithms developed from captured alien data, and the innate human capacity for improvisation created a dynamic battlefield where alien forces were continually reacting rather than acting, and in the Vorten cluster, a dense region previously considered impenetrable due to gravitational anomalies and unpredictable stellar activity. Humans demonstrated their mastery of physics and tactical innovation by deploying stealth fleets that navigated the hazards with unerring precision, emerging at multiple points to strike simultaneously and overwhelm enemy defenses, while alien admirals struggled to respond. Confused by the multiplicity of threats and the unpredictability of human maneuvers, Earth scientists had also developed advanced energy systems capable of generating localized disruptions that interfere with alien sensors, creating illusions of empty space where fleets had actually concentrated. This technological advantage allowed humans to stage ambushes, divert reinforcements, and sow chaos among alien ranks. Every engagement became a study in exploiting overconfidence, and alien officers, accustomed to predictable reactions, began to hesitate, second-guess, and even retreat without orders. The psychological component of warfare became as decisive as physical. Engagements, as humans leveraged their adaptability, coordination, and ingenuity to amplify the effects of every strike. Simultaneously, political leaders on Earth worked to unify occupied and allied colonies, establishing logistical networks that ensured steady supplies of energy, materials, and trained personnel, every system integrated into a single coordinated effort. Human diplomats communicated with neutral civilizations to secure trade agreements, secure intelligence, and encourage support for human-led campaigns. And in doing so, humans not only expanded territorial control, but strengthened political and economic foundations that allowed their military operations to sustain momentum. Alien scientists and engineers struggled to respond to the pace of innovation, their attempts to modify weapons, shield technologies, or fleet designs often arriving too late to prevent decisive defeats. And every victory, every captured installation, every successful ambush reinforced the growing mythos of human invincibility, creating fear that spread across planets and civilizations that had once dismissed Earth as insignificant. In the orbital belt of Syra, humans executed a campaign that combined psychological, technological, and tactical superiority, using captured alien communication relays to broadcast false retreat signals, drawing elite alien strike groups into lethal zones where gravitational anomalies and prepositioned mines ensured complete annihilation. Simultaneously, human forces struck supply depots and repair stations far behind enemy lines, further limiting alien capacity to regroup, and alien council chambers erupted in chaos as leaders confronted the unthinkable. Every countermeasure humans anticipated and neutralized, every contingency humans seemed to foresee, and every fleet humans engaged with unmatched efficiency. The sheer audacity and effectiveness of human strategy undermined the confidence of entire civilizations, while on Earth, leadership maintained a steady focus on long-term objectives, ensuring that gains were consolidated, technology was rapidly integrated, and morale remained high. The human approach combined patience, precision, and ruthless efficiency, showing that victory was not merely the product of superior numbers or firepower, but of insight, coordination, and adaptability. Alien diplomats attempted last-minute negotiations, sending emissaries to propose ceasefires, territorial concessions, and treaties, yet humanity had learned from centuries of dismissal and betrayal, using these interactions to gain time, extract intelligence, and manipulate alien expectations, further demonstrating that humans could control both the physical and psychological dimensions of warfare. And as the campaign reached its apex, it became clear that humans were not only reclaiming lost respect and territory, but fundamentally rewriting the rules of engagement. The aliens' assumption of superiority had been shattered, their doctrine of intimidation and technological dominance rendered obsolete by a species that combined courage, ingenuity, and a willingness to take calculated risks. Each victory reinforced perception of inevitability. The The alien empire's own bureaucratic rigidity and over-reliance on conventional tactics increasingly hindered them. Human strikes exploited those weaknesses systematically, capturing strategic star systems, neutralizing elite squadrons, and ensuring that alien fleets were continuously forced into reaction rather than initiative. And as Earth's fleets repaired, refitted, and expanded their presence in newly secured regions, the galaxy began to witness a transformation, one in which the underestimated human species was no longer content with survival or mere resistance, but actively asserting influence, dictating terms, and demonstrating that adaptability, strategic brilliance, and unyielding resolve could topple even the most dominant civilizations. And for the first time in recorded galactic history, alien leaders understood the terrifying truth. Humanity, once dismissed and overlooked, had evolved into a force capable of turning every miscalculation, overconfidence, and arrogance into a decisive vulnerability, and the consequences of underestimating them would echo across the stars for generations to come. As humanity solidified its control over newly liberated sectors, their campaigns shifted from reactive defense to calculated offense, targeting the core systems of alien empires in a manner that combined precision, deception, and overwhelming force. The humans understood that alien civilizations relied not only on superior firepower, but also on confidence, hierarchy, and predictability. And so human commanders designed operations to disrupt all three simultaneously, deploying fleets that appeared scattered and vulnerable while hiding massive reserves capable of decisive strikes. In the Epsilon Eridani system, a critical energy supply hub for multiple alien factions, humans executed a complex feint, sending a small visible contingent to draw enemy forces, while the main fleet used hyperspace shortcuts and gravitational anomalies to flank and destroy the defenders before they could organize. Every strike was calculated to cripple logistics, demoralize crews, and force alien leaders into reactive chaos, while Earth scientists and engineers continue to develop new technologies that enhance human capabilities beyond conventional limits, adaptive shielding systems that anticipated energy attacks, autonomous drones capable of learning and responding mid-battle, and advanced targeting algorithms that calculated enemy movement and weapon output with near-perfect accuracy. All these technologies were seamlessly integrated into human strategy, creating a force that combined ingenuity, adaptability, and brute effectiveness. Simultaneously, human intelligence networks worked to exploit alien culture, psychology, and communication patterns, feeding misinformation and creating false signals that caused alien fleets to misallocate resources, divert attention, and make critical errors. While human pilots trained in improvisation turned even minor skirmishes into decisive victories, the psychological impact of these methods was profound. Alien commanders, once confident in their supremacy, began to question their own tactics and subordinate officers. Reports of entire squadrons retreating or surrendering under pressure became increasingly common. On the ground, captured planets were secured not through occupation, but through careful integration, using local resources and populations to strengthen human logistical networks and support ongoing operations, ensuring that every victory reinforced humanity's ability to sustain campaigns over vast distances. In the Orion Expanse, humans deployed stealth and reconnaissance units to map hyperspace lanes, detect alien fleet movements, and identify vulnerabilities in planetary defenses. These operations allowed the human high command to strike with surgical precision, hitting supply depots, communications arrays, and orbital defenses before alien forces could respond simultaneously. Human diplomats reached out to neutral civilizations and those oppressed by alien overlords, forming alliances, securing intelligence, and creating political pressure that complemented military operations. The combination of psychological, technological, and strategic superiority left alien leadership scrambling, unable to coordinate effectively, and increasingly aware that their traditional advantages were being systematically nullified. In one remarkable engagement near the Shadar Belt, human forces deployed a decoy fleet to lure elite alien strike groups into an ambush, while main forces struck planetary defenses from unexpected vectors. The resulting loss of capital ships and personnel sent shockwaves to the alien hierarchy, further undermining morale and confidence. And as humans continued to adapt to every countermeasure, the alien empires found themselves in an unprecedented position, their once dominant fleets unable to achieve decisive outcomes. their command structures overwhelmed by rapid and unpredictable human maneuvers, the psychological component of warfare reached new heights. As humans combined bold strategy with visible successes, broadcasting victories and tactical brilliance across conquered and neutral systems, instilling fear, respect, and awe in the process. Meanwhile, Earth maintained centralized coordination, ensuring that logistics, reinforcements, and technological integration were seamless. Human commanders exercised initiative without sacrificing unity, creating a disciplined yet flexible force capable of responding to any challenge. Alien scientists scrambled to replicate human innovations but were consistently a step behind. Every attempt to gain parity met with adaptation and countermeasures that humans had anticipated and prepared for. In countless systems, the story of human ingenuity, strategic brilliance, and relentless courage spread, inspiring oppressed civilizations and shaking alien empires to their core. The narrative of an underestimated species' rise into dominance reinforced itself with each engagement as alien leaders grapple with the reality that human unpredictability, adaptability, and strategic integration could not be countered by sheer numbers or technological advantage alone. And as humans prepared for the next major offensive into the central regions of the galaxy, consolidating gains, repairing and upgrading fleets, and refining strategies, it became increasingly clear that humanity had moved beyond mere survival or defense, becoming a force capable of shaping galactic events, redefining power, structures, and demonstrating that the species once dismissed as weak and insignificant possessed a combination of ingenuity, courage, and determination that no civilization would withstand. The lessons learned, the victories achieved, and the strategies perfected ensured that humanity's rise was not temporary, but an enduring transformation of the galaxy's balance of power. And every alien civilization now faced an unavoidable truth. The underestimated humans were no longer to be ignored, feared only for their numbers or dismissed for their primitive origins, for they had proven that underestimation was a fatal mistake, and that the tide of war had irrevocably turned in humanity's favor. As humanity's campaigns advanced toward the core systems of the galaxy, the scope and ambition of their operations grew exponentially, combining military precision, technological innovation, and psychological warfare to create a multidimensional approach that alien civilizations could neither predict nor counter. The human high command orchestrated simultaneous strikes across multiple sectors, each designed to overwhelm, confuse, and destabilize alien command structures while securing strategic resources and critical infrastructure. On the battlefields, human fleets demonstrated an unprecedented ability to coordinate attacks across vast distances, leveraging real-time intelligence from long-range sensors, autonomous drone networks, and captured alien communication systems to execute maneuvers that seemed impossible, yet were meticulously planned and executed with flawless timing. The aliens, whose strategies relied heavily on predictable responses and hierarchical obedience, found themselves consistently outmaneuvered, their forces funneled into traps, misled by phantom fleets, and confronted with attacks from unexpected directions that exploited weaknesses in both their technology and their command logic. Meanwhile, on Earth and in human-controlled sectors, scientists and engineers refined energy weapons, propulsion systems, and defensive technologies to a degree that rendered alien weapons largely ineffective. Adaptive shielding, predictive targeting algorithms, and hyperspace-based maneuvering systems allowed human vessels to strike first and survive even when heavily outnumbered. Every new innovation was immediately integrated into broader strategy, ensuring that humans remained not only reactive but decisively proactive. In the Vera Expanse, a heavily fortified alien stronghold became a proving ground for human ingenuity, as elite human strike teams infiltrated the system, using cloaked transports and precise timing to disable key defense nodes. While capital ships exploited gravitational anomalies to bypass orbital barriers and deliver crippling strikes to infrastructure and energy grids, alien commanders attempted to regroup, but the human assault had been coordinated to account for every conceivable countermeasure, turning the alien reinforcements into liabilities, as they were systematically destroyed or forced to retreat. And while battles raged in space, humans also employed psychological and information warfare, broadcasting messages of human victories and strategic brilliance to alien populations and fleets alike, creating uncertainty, fear, and hesitation that further degraded enemy cohesion. Throughout these operations, Earth's leadership maintained careful oversight, balancing aggression with sustainability, ensuring that logistics, fleet readiness, and morale remained at peak levels. Human commanders were empowered to exercise initiative, adapt to unforeseen circumstances, and exploit weaknesses, creating a decentralized yet highly effective operational network that alien civilizations could neither disrupt nor anticipate. Simultaneously, humans extended diplomatic and strategic influence to neutral systems, building alliances, securing resources, and encouraging rebellion against oppressive alien rulers, further stretching enemy forces thin and amplifying the effects of every military engagement. In the Korath cluster, a series of coordinated ambushes saw human fleets using decoys, sensor, jamming, and feigned retreats to draw elite alien strike forces into kill zones, while secondary units target supply chains and repair facilities, resulting in catastrophic losses to the enemy with minimal human casualties. These operations demonstrated that human success was not the product of sheer firepower, but a superior strategy, adaptability, and insight. Alien analysts struggled to interpret the patterns, often reaching flawed conclusions that humans anticipated and used to their advantage. As the campaign continued, the cumulative effect of victories, technological superiority, and psychological pressure eroded alien confidence across the galaxy. Officers began questioning orders. Fleets hesitated, and entire civilizations faced internal unrest as populations reacted to repeated defeats and the apparent inevitability of human dominance. In parallel, humans continued to refine combined arms tactics, integrating space, planetary, and orbital operations in seamless coordination, ensuring that every strike was reinforced, every maneuver supported, and every victory consolidated. The narrative of human ingenuity, adaptability, and indomitable was spread even among previously neutral or hostile species, who began to recognize that humanity was no longer an underestimated fringe species, but a central power capable of shaping galactic politics, warfare, and culture. In multiple systems, humans captured alien research stations, analyzing in reverse engineering technologies to stay consistently ahead of the enemy. Every advance, from energy weapons to hyperspace navigation, was turned into operational advantage, ensuring that alien forces were perpetually reacting to human innovation rather than dictating the terms of engagement. While human fleets grew more sophisticated, their crews more experienced, and their strategies more refined with every encounter, alien empires face an unprecedented reality. Their long-standing assumptions about superiority, technological dominance, and strategic predictability have been rendered obsolete by a species that could adapt, innovate, and execute with unparalleled efficiency. And as humans prepare to launch the next series of offensives into the heart of enemy territory, consolidating conquered systems, upgrading fleets, and coordinating multi-sector campaigns, it became evident that the galaxy itself was witnessing the transformation of humanity from a dismissed and underestimated species into the dominant power, capable of challenging every civilization, redefining strategy, and proving that intelligence, ingenuity, adaptability, and resolve were forces far more formidable than mere numbers or technology, and every alien command structure, fleet, and planet confronted the terrifying certainty that humanity had arrived, no longer a fledgling contender but a decisive, unstoppable force shaping the fate of the stars. As humanity pushed deeper into the territories of alien overlords, the full scale of their capabilities became impossible to ignore. The human fleets operated with near-perfect coordination across multiple star systems, striking simultaneously at strategic points, orbital defenses, supply depots, and command hubs, while decoy fleets and cloak strike teams created constant uncertainty. Alien admirals struggled to respond as every countermeasure seemed anticipated, every maneuver preempted, and every resource targeted. Human engineers had refined hyperspace navigation to the point where fleets could appear in previously impossible locations, execute precise assaults, and vanish before enemy forces could adapt simultaneously. Earth maintained comprehensive oversight, ensuring logistics, reinforcements, and repairs kept pace with the unrelenting pace of human operations. Every victory became a building block for the next. Every capture of alien technology turned into an advantage for further strategic superiority. In the Hyran Expanse, human forces executed a campaign that combined orbital bombardment, planetary infiltration, and electronic warfare, neutralizing a heavily fortified alien system with minimal losses. Alien crews, trained in doctrine and rigid hierarchy, found themselves unable to adapt, facing opponents who were both highly disciplined and unpredictably inventive. Human leadership ensured that these operations were not isolated victories, but part of a larger, coherent strategy that systematically dismantled alien control across multiple sectors. Simultaneously, humans leveraged psychological operations, broadcasting intercepted communications, propaganda, and demonstrations of tactical brilliance to alien populations, sowing fear, doubt, and confusion while reinforcing human dominance. Alien bureaucracies, once confident in their superiority, now struggle with internal dissent, miscommunication, and fear, unable to maintain cohesion as fleets were destroyed or forced into retreat, and as humans continue to adapt to every alien tactic, introducing new technologies, energy weapons, predictive algorithms, and autonomous drones. Alien planners found their best-laid strategies repeatedly defeated before execution. In the Lithian sector, human forces used deceptive hyperspace jumps, feigned retreats, and multi-vector attacks to lure elite alien squadrons into traps that resulted in catastrophic losses, demonstrating the lethal effectiveness of human foresight, adaptability, and audacity. At the same time, humans ensured the security and integration of liberated systems, building infrastructure, stabilizing populations, and consolidating resources to maintain momentum and supply lines. The combination of military, technological, and psychological superiority created a cumulative effect, steadily eroding alien confidence while reinforcing perception of human invincibility. Every operation showcased humanity's ability to turn limitations into advantages, improvising in ways alien species could not predict, while continuing to integrate new intelligence and technology into an increasingly formidable force. In the Cold reaches, humans executed a daring operation to capture a vital energy nexus, deploying stealth teams to disable planetary defenses while capital ships struck from unexpected angles. Alien command structures were paralyzed by confusion, and the operation's success sent shockwaves through the alien council, forcing a reassessment of every assumption about human capabilities. Simultaneously, human forces continued to advance in multiple theaters, demonstrating that their reach, coordination, and adaptability were unmatched. Every strike forced alien fleets to divide, overextend, and ultimately succumb to attrition, while Earth's leaders coordinated technological, logistical, and diplomatic support to maintain momentum and unity. Alien populations, once certain of their own supremacy, began to question the invincibility of their leaders and fleets, witnessing the relentless effectiveness of humans who combined strategy, innovation, and courage in a way that no civilization had ever encountered. Humans also employed advanced reconnaissance and intelligence operations, using intercepted communications, hack systems, and psychological insight to predict enemy actions, manipulate outcomes, and exploit hesitation. Every victory reinforced the narrative of human brilliance. Every captured system became both a strategic asset and a demonstration of unstoppable momentum. And as the campaign pressed onward, humanity's presence expanded with breathtaking speed and efficiency, consolidating power, integrating resources, and preparing for final decisive strikes against remaining alien strongholds. The cumulative effect of these operations shattered the assumption of alien dominance. As fleets once considered unassailable were neutralized, fortresses thought impregnable fell, and command structures collapsed under the weight of human ingenuity and relentless execution. And across the galaxy, the story of a species once underestimated now dominating through intellect, adaptability, and unwavering resolve spread like wildfire, instilling fear, respect, and awe. Alien civilizations began to recognize a fundamental shift in power, one in which humans were no longer content with survival, but were actively redefining the balance of the galaxy, asserting control, and demonstrating conclusively that underestimation had been their gravest mistake, and humanity's rise was no longer a rumor, a single campaign, or a series of victories, but a paradigm shift, proving that strategic brilliance, technological mastery, and relentless determination could overcome every challenge, outthink every enemy, and ultimately turn the tide of interstellar war, leaving the galaxy to bear witness to the unstoppable ascent of a species that would never again be dismissed. As humanity's forces pressed into the last bastions of alien control, the culmination of decades of preparation, innovation, and relentless perseverance became fully apparent. Fleets move with a precision and coordination that no adversary could match. Human ships striking simultaneously at command hubs, supply lines, and orbital fortresses with a combination of adaptive energy weapons, predictive targeting, and hyperspace maneuvers that alien commanders could neither anticipate nor counter. Every engagement demonstrated not only human firepower, but superior strategic thinking, exploiting weaknesses, anticipating reactions, and turning apparent vulnerabilities into lethal advantages. The aliens' attempts to rally forces were met with decoys, ambushes, and multi-vector assaults that shattered cohesion and morale. Alien fleets were forced to split, overextend, and eventually collapse under coordinated human attacks, while human engineers continued to refine technologies captured from earlier battles, integrating them seamlessly into existing systems, allowing fleets to operate with efficiency and flexibility far beyond the aliens' understanding. Simultaneously, humans employed psychological warfare on a galactic scale, broadcasting precise demonstrations of strategy, victories, and unstoppable momentum to both enemy populations and neutral civilizations, eroding confidence and forcing alien leadership to confront the stark reality of their underestimation, even elite alien. Commanders, once confident in their doctrine and technology, hesitated and faltered under the pressure of unpredictable human tactics, decentralized yet perfectly coordinated command structures, and the unwavering resolve of crews who were trained to improvise, adapt, and exploit every opportunity. In the heart of the invading cluster, a heavily fortified alien citadel fell after a meticulously planned operation that combined orbital bombardment, stealth infiltration, and hyperspace maneuvers. Alien defenses collapsed as human forces neutralized shields, disrupted communications, and incapacitated command networks, and the alien rulers, witnessing the systematic destruction of their strongest positions, began to understand the full magnitude of their miscalculation. Humans continued to expand control across multiple sectors, consolidating resources, stabilizing newly liberated systems, and preparing for final coordinated offensives against remaining alien strongholds. Every move was informed by intelligence, foresight, and an understanding of alien psychology, allowing humans to strike not only physically but strategically, exploiting fear, hesitation, and arrogance to force mistakes, while ensuring minimal losses and maximum impact, as alien populations realized that the once dominant civilizations were failing to contain human advances. Unrest, mutiny, and surrender became increasingly common. The narrative of an underestimated species, now dominating the galaxy, spread with unstoppable force. Humans were no longer reactive participants in a war they had been forced into, but the architects of a decisive transformation of galactic power. Simultaneously, Earth's leaders coordinated political, economic, and technological efforts to ensure the sustainability of human dominance, integrating conquered systems into a unified network that reinforced fleet operations, resource distribution, and long-term planning. And as the final alien strongholds fell one by one under the relentless, precise, and adaptable human onslaught, the remaining leaders were left with no recourse but surrender, the galaxy witnessing a historic reversal, one where ingenuity, adaptability, determination, and strategy had triumphed over arrogance, bureaucracy, and numerical or technological superiority. Humanity had achieved not only survival but supremacy, proving beyond doubt that the species once dismissed and underestimated possessed a vision, courage, and capability to control its own destiny and reshape the course of galactic history. In the aftermath, humans worked to stabilize the galaxy, establish governance, and ensure that lessons learned from decades of conflict were codified, while alien civilizations, humbled and chastened, came to recognize the consequence of underestimating humanity, a lesson that would reverberate across the stars for generations. And as the first unified human fleets patrolled newly liberated space, demonstrating order, innovation, and unyielding resolve, the galaxy itself seemed to acknowledge a new era in which humans had not only turned the tide of war against their overlords, but redefined the very meaning of strength, adaptability, and dominance in interstellar civilization, and the message became unmistakable to every corner of the galaxy. Humanity was no longer a species to be ignored, mocked, or dismissed, for it had proven in the most absolute terms that the underestimated could become unstoppable, the powerless could become rulers, and the audacious, innovative, and determined would forever alter the destiny of the stars.